Oh, I almost forgot. Today is Donald Trump's birthday, June 14th. And I have an important announcement. Some news for you today. Apparently, in honor of his birthday, he decided to pay off the federal budget deficit as a gift. So that's gone. Deficit is gone. Deficit is gone. And so I want to welcome you to the new Trump Cultural Center. No, I like things the way they are. Kennedy Center. Oh, the history, the mystery, the majesty of this hall. We were talking about Joseph Kennedy, and when this hall was being constructed, the great aging movie star Gloria Swanson came out here thinking that Joseph Kennedy was building a theater for her to star in and maybe make a comeback. And he was in trouble. He said, Gloria, he said, this theater isn't good enough for you. No. I'll tell you what I'll do. As soon as we finish here, we're going to build another theater just for you in Branson, Missouri. But JFK was not the culture maven that his wife was. But he did push the legislation to hurry up the funding, to start it years before, and to name it after Eisenhower, who started the whole thing. Of course, they did name the Opera House after him, which is funny because he was not a great opera guy. General Eisenhower, as a general, he thought the plots were illogical, and I didn't care for them either. They're not relevant. You know, they're really not. Take Verdi's Othello. Othello, story about a gifted black guy who kills his white wife in a jealous rage. Who could believe a plot like that? Or take the Mozart opera, The Abduction of the Seraglio, story about a young girl captured and wounded in Nasiriyah, miraculously saved and brought to freedom in a daring escape and not remembering the awful details of the event? What was Mozart thinking when he wrote that crazy story? Or the Wagnerian opera about the guy who kills his pregnant wife on Christmas Eve and throws her in the sea and can't get a fair trial because she keeps reappearing every time he says he didn't do it? What was that? Was that Rheingold? Or the two guys who want to get married, Siegfried and Roy? Republicans, Democrats can't agree on anything. I'll give you an example. Today is Flag Day, and over in Congress, there's a bipartisan committee that wanted to have a Flag Day party, but they couldn't agree on a date. Well, you can't blame them. Washington's a town where half the time, half the people write the number of the month first, and then the date, and the other half write the day first and the number of the month second, so that half the time you don't know what day it is. In Washington, half the people tell time by AM and PM, and the other half tell time by 100 hours, so that half the time you don't know what time it is. In Washington, half the time, half the people put a little line through their sevens so it doesn't look like a 1, and the other half don't, so that half the time your budget is in huge surplus. Whoops! The other half of the time you have to call Alan Greenspan back. In Washington, in the government buildings, half the security desks check you in, and the other half check you out. So that half the time there's a traffic jam from the employees coming in late who are bumping into the employees who are leaving early. And when they bump into each other by accident, they say, "Recuse me."